Power by Hisonni Johnson. Exterior, Coast City College, morning. A scorched American flag flutters just above the quiet college campus. Beneath the fire-singed stars and stripes rest tribute ribbons, various pictures, and row after row of melted candles. It's an elaborate memorial erected by grieving students, each student clasping hands with another. Dozens united in prayer for the departed, until it happens. Weak knees slam into the pavement as a teary-eyed male student collapses. He weeps with such agony it weakens the already fragile resolve of his fellow co-eds. Students watch as the young man wails whilst clutching a crumpled picture within his fist. It's an image of a young man embracing another handsome fellow, perhaps a lover. Their expressions are joyous, optimistic, unrealized. The young man's sobs send a chill across campus and divide an entire city. Zzz. Interior, Coast City General Hospital, morgue, morning. Electricity hums through a bright fluorescent examination lamp. Its sickly green tint reveals the partial figure of John Stewart, a muscular man, black, early 30s, shirtless. Click. An electronic padlock disengages, opening a large metal door. As the door opens, its bright entryway is occupied by Dr. Sandra Thomas, a petite woman, late 30s, wearing a hazmat suit.
Morning.
Sandra's nervous breath fills her protective masks with condensation as she tentatively advances. Blam! The electronic door slams shut behind the doctor. Click. The locks re-engage. Sandra reluctantly takes another step towards John. Her shaking hands are barely capable of gripping her medical kit.
Ma'am?
The condensation in Sandra's mask dissipates as she listens.
My memory. How do I know that I'm not recreating it as I go along? Just replacing what I actually am with who I wish I could be.
Sandra glances at the stainless steel handcuffs on John's wrist, cuffs that secure John into his examination table.
I wish I had the answer to that. I'm sorry, John.
Each breath John takes triggers a symphony of blossoming musculature. It's an intimidating sight. The look in Sandra's eyes reveals that she's aware of the danger she's in, that John could easily dismember her, despite the cuffs. Yet, she finds a reason to press forward.
Is it John Doe or?
Stewart. John Stewart. It's the name in your medical history.
Sandra takes a deep breath as she finds herself face to face with John.
Shall we?
The latches on Sandra's medical kit open. Click. A small flashlight turns on and John finds a bright beam of light aimed directly at his right pupil.
Follow the light.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital hallway, same time. Two men march through the bustling hospital hallway, one being Agent Dennis O'Neill, male, mid-40s, salt and pepper hair, sporting sleek business attire. The other, Agent Floyd Lawton, male, early 30s, wearing protective vest, complemented by a sidearm holstered to each hip.
There's no procedure on handling a crisis like this, so I'm going with my gut.
Dennis glances at Floyd.
Priority number 1, get him out of the building.
Dennis takes a deep breath.
Before it's too late.
Floyd nods. The two men swiftly turn into another hallway and out of sight.
And the people outside?
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, morgue, moments later. John's calm hazel eyes shift from left to right as they follow the beam of light.
What about him?
Sandra turns off the flashlight.
What do they call me?
Does it make a difference?
John shrugs.
It might. I'm not a doctor, but
Sandra uses the flashlight to give John's fingertip a pinch and as a means to avoid answering the question.
Feel that?
yes, ma'am.
Sandra thinks.
If it's not medically relevant, I don't find it worth listening to.
John's brow furrows. A beam of light slams into John's left pupil.
Keep your eyes open.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, hallway, same time. The two agents continue their march along the hospital hall. Soldiers swaying in sync, military-style haircuts, barbershop fresh.
Here.
The two men turn and make another sharp turn and are out of sight.
Ma'am, do me a favor.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, morgue, moments later.
Imagine your favorite place to relax, your refuge from anything life hits you with.
Sandra turns off the flashlight but continues her examination.
It's beautiful, peaceful.
The ridges of Sandra's protective gloves carefully slide across John's dry, calloused hands.
Now imagine a sudden eclipse. You find yourself lost in total darkness, disoriented in a place you've been to millions of times before.
John and Sandra's eyes meet as John's metaphor becomes more clear.
Now, just as you think things are bad as they can get, wolves begin to howl around you. And it's only then that you realize you feel the dark, just like everyone else.
Sandra's conscience gnaws at her until she relents.
They call you a murderer.
The blood drains from John's face. As Sandra continues her examination, her plastic gloves discover a thick tan line on John's middle finger, right hand.
Who did I?
I hadn't noticed this before.
John wipes his eyes as Sandra points out the tan line on his right hand.
Yeah, that means that I was alone before all this.
How do you figure?
John stares into the gray concrete floor aimlessly.
Wrong hand, wrong finger.
The two sit in uncomfortable silence until something urgent draws Sandra's eyes downward.
You don't feel that?
John looks and finds Sandra pinching his right index finger with all her might. Unnerved, John pulls his hand away.
No, ma'am.
Any ringing in the ears?
John nods.
Good.
John is unsure what to make of this news, but listens intently.
Memory loss. Ringing in the ears. Lack of sensation.
Sandra carefully removes the gauze from John's forehead to examine the injury underneath.
I tend to see this sort of brain trauma in patients who have fallen from about 3 stories or higher, though they aren't in as good of shape as you seem to be.
So, a fall did this?
Not sure, because the only sign of head trauma you have looks like it's from...
Sandra's head tilts inquisitively as she gets a better look at John's forehead injury. She notices a distinct indentation in the center of a very severe bruise.
a projectile.
A bullet? You think I was shot in the head?
You'd have no head for me to examine.
Agreed.
Unless something slowed the bullet before impact.
John chuckles condescendingly.
Glad my theory amuses you.
Finally, John's laugh dissipates. He takes a deep breath.
Theory? Ma'am, why are you trying so hard?
Sandra pauses.
You're a patient.
A criminal.
Do you remember breaking any laws?
Sandra waits.
I don't remember anything. That doesn't prove innocence.
Nor guilt. Not that it matters. Just let me do my job.
Sandra reaches into her medkit and withdraws a Geiger counter when, whoosh, thump. John's massive hand stabs outward. Like a snake biting its prey, John's hand clamps onto Sandra's wrist, preventing her from activating the device.
No more treatment.
Not your choice. Besides, this is a test, not a treatment.
Don't care.
Sandra's shaking hand grips the device as John's powerful mitt closes tighter around her tiny wrist. Condensation crawls up Sandra's mask as her panicked breathing heats the inside of her hazmat suit.
You're hurting my arm.
Yet another reason I don't deserve your help.
And I didn't deserve yours, but here we are.
John's vice-like grip loosens.
The hell are you talking about?
On my darkest night, all that stood between me and those hungry wolves
John stares into Sandra's eyes.
was you.
John releases Sandra's wrist. Condensation in Sandra's mask slowly creeps downward as the two struggle again to find words, struggle to trust one another. All John can muster is a nod, yet the gesture manages to communicate the most sincere apologeticness, to which Sandra returns the gesture. While Sandra and John's eyes watch as Sandra activates the Geiger counter, the machine springs to life and tick. Sandra hasn't aimed the Geiger counter, but it's reading something. Tick. Sandra turns the sensor towards John. Tick, 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 tick. The closer the device gets to John, the stronger the signal, until the series of ticks melt into a unnerving hiss. Sandra's shaking hand grips the device inches from John's chest. This time, the blood drains from Sandra's face.
What's wrong?
Radiation.
Dong, 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 intercom chimes. Both Sandra and John look towards the speaker in the upper left corner of the dim room.
Dr. Donis, get him up. Get him dressed. He's being transferred.
Click. Call ends. Sandra shuts down the Geiger counter, but the look of concern in her eyes is unmistakable.
Don't discharge him.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, recovery room 3B, doorway, later. Sandra and the hospital's boyishly good-looking Dean of Surgery, Dr. Thomas Elliott, whisper to one another just outside of John's room.
I've already gone down that road. It ended with me being told that I'd be brought up on criminal charges if something happened to the guy.
And you caved? With no fight at all?
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, inside recovery room 3B, same time.
If I could have him for a little bit longer, I could.
Inside the recovery room, John hops off his hospital bed.
I can't.
John is drawn to the commotion outside his window. Clank. A chain stretching from the hospital bed to John's handcuffs is pulled taut as he reaches the windowsill.
Do Do you know how dangerous it is to have this man sharing the same hospital as his victims?
His victims?
John's cuffs rattle as he pulls back the window shades. His eyes widen as he looks upon a college campus marred by the still smoldering remnants of its most central building, the top 2 floors of which are destroyed, possibly the result of an explosion.
Do you know how much liability we have?
Then make the hospital's overpaid lawyers do their goddamn job. He's sick, Tommy.
John's eyes shift towards the hospital entrance below. He discovers a mob of angry students picketing the hospital. Each sign the picketers hold, each shirt they wear, each screaming voice is united in a single message. Justice equals no metahumans.
He's a patient, like anyone else.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, recovery room 3B doorway, same time.
Except he's not like everyone else, is he?
That doesn't mean he's a...
The 2 doctors stare at one another, arms crossed, in complete opposition.
Never mind. I'll file an injunction myself.
Nah, you'd be wasting your time.
The doctors turn and find Dennis O'Neill standing across from them. Dennis flashes a smile that warms the busy hospital hallway.
Dennis O'Neill, Argus, Division 5.
Dennis hands Dr. Elliot his credentials and points to his left.
This is Agent Lawton. We're here to transport John to a more secure facility.
Agent Lawton gives Sandra a nod. Sandra takes notice of Lawton's sarcastic semi-grin, his loud gum chewing, his cocked eyebrow. Something about these 2 is unsettling to Sandra. Suddenly, Dennis extends a hand. Sandra takes a long look at his hand. After a long, judgmental glare at Dr. Elliot,
Whatever happens is on you.
Sandra departs, leaving Dennis adrift.
Apologies. Things have been complicated for the past 24 hours.
We're only here to help.
Dr. Elliot examines Dennis's credentials one last time. He's uncertain, reluctant, but has no choice.
He's all yours.
Dr. Elliot departs. Dennis turns and takes a good look at John from the doorway. Interior, Coast City General Hospital. Inside the recovery room, 3B, same time. John continues to stare at the protesters outside.
I was right, you know.
John turns, his eyes narrow.
They were better off not knowing about you, about any of you.
John stands silent, standoffish even.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
John doesn't respond.
It's okay. I know about the memory loss, so I'll make it short. We're friends, John. Good friends.
John's brow furrows.
You got your name from me. Well, your alias.
Dennis chuckles as he steps closer.
It was Shakespeare that gave me the idea, actually. He said, "You are thought to be the most sensible and fit man for the constable of the watch. Therefore, you shall carry the lantern."
Dennis's hand disappears into his pocket. John's pupils widen.
You know, every lawman hopes to shed a little bit of light onto his city.
Dennis takes another step. His hand still inside his pocket, hidden from view. John's fight or flight kicks in as he eyes an ink pen atop a medical chart. A weapon of desperation.
But no one does it like you.
Dennis smiles at his clever inside joke.
Do they, John?
Dennis takes another step towards John. John's eyes dart towards the pen. Then the bulging veins in Dennis's throat. Suddenly Dennis removes his hand from his pocket and ka-thunk. The chain that tethered John to the bed drops to the floor.
Whatever occurred yesterday has a lot of people wanting you dead. I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen.
Dennis extends his hand. John takes one last look, noting Dennis's upright posture, direct eye contact, and inviting smile. Finally, John accepts Dennis's hand in friendship.
Thank you.
They grip one another's hands firmly.
In the early 2000s, all it took was one word to start a war.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital hallway moments later. A parade of boots march across tile. John and Dennis navigate a busy hall with Agent Lawton and a dozen heavily armed agents circling them.
The word was Al-Qaeda.
Doctors and patients clear a path as the frightened group turn a corner.
Fast forward 14 years and there's a new word that gets the public all riled up.
Dennis looks at John.
Metahumans.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital atrium, moments later. A dozen heads turn as the battalion of agents escort John into the hospital's main lobby.
You and Big Blue going public made people scared. Yesterday's explosion, that made some powerful people panic. And when powerful people panic, people get the greenlit. No pun intended.
You're saying there's a hit out on me.
Dennis laughs.
Several. John, we got pissed off bigots. Cops, criminals, you've irked. Even the relatives of yesterday's victims, they all have a motive, now more than ever.
Suddenly, John's gaze widens. He glances to his right, his left, above and behind. In every direction, John seems to find someone with malintent in their eyes. Even Agent Lawton looks to be less than trustworthy. A woman's voice echoes through the atrium.
Don't say another word.
Everyone turns to the voice. The sound of high heels against marble grow closer. Shayera Hall, the attractive early 30s, red-haired, green-eyed female defense attorney, approaches John and the group protecting him.
Nothing else happens until I speak with my client.
Agent Lawton slaps an agent on the back.
Stop her.
The young agent breaks from the group in an attempt to halt Shayera's advance when, whoosh, slap. Shayera parries the young agent's attempt to grab her. Counters with a swift palm strike to the back of the neck that redirects the agent's momentum to the marble floor face first, and it was embarrassingly easy for her. Suddenly, the remaining agents fan out. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. A dozen automatic weapons lock and load. Each gun barrel finds its mark upon Shayera's center of mass. Doctors and patients run for cover. Shayera throws her hands into the air.
Wait! Wait!
Hold!
The agents hold steady as their comrade just below Shayera regains consciousness. Yet no one notices the small device stuck on the fallen agent's flak jacket, or the flashing green light it emits.
He attacked first.
The agents maintain perfect aim. No one moves, including John.
Who are you?
His attorney.
She points towards John tentatively.
His attorney.
Dennis gives John the side eye.
Is she?
John eyes the room. He sees the terrified doctors, the panicked patients, the agents with their fingers on the trigger.
Yes, sir.
You remember her?
You have the right to remain silent, John.
Dennis points at Shayera and roars.
Quiet!
The demonic sound sends a chill down everyone's spine.
You're telling me that all of a sudden you remember her?
John shakes his head.
No, sir. I'm saying I never forgot her.
What? A hand lands on Dennis's shoulder. It's Lawton.
If you train a man well enough, his skill becomes as natural as breathing.
So?
He's breathing.
Dennis considers Lawton's advice briefly.
Let's not complicate things. Clear everyone out and give me a parameter.
Dennis smiles at John.
You got 10 minutes with your attorney.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital, atrium, moments later. John and Shayera sit at a table together, but 20 feet in each direction an agent watches them, ready to shoot at the slightest provocation.
Who are you?
You just said that you remembered me.
Ma'am, I don't know who I am.
Shayera stares back at John, voiceless, stewing in a vat of emotion she hasn't had the strength to keep a lid on. So she closes her eyes to press back the tears. John reads the subtext and clink. The sound of metal on wood pries Shayera's eyes wide open. In the middle of the small wooden table are John's cuffed hands for Shayera to see, to study. It's a harsh reality. Their eyes meet. Without a single word being exchanged, they reach an understanding. That understanding being that they'll never be what they were. So they start from the beginning.
My name is Shayera Hall. I'm your lawyer.
What happened yesterday?
Shayera thinks.
A bomb at Coast City College.
Click, clack, bang. Interior, Coast City College, administration building, 36 hours earlier. A gunshot echoes. Green light splatters across the walls. John drops. The ring on John's right hand spits sparks of exhausted green energy.
You hadn't rested in weeks.
John's glowing green eyes snap open.
Even you need to recharge sometime.
A madman stands above John triumphantly, wearing a vest of C4 explosives strapped on tight, 44 Magnum in one hand, detonator in the other. John watches helplessly as, click, the madman presses the button on the detonator and boom! Interior, Coast City General Hospital, atrium, moments later. John stares into nothingness, picturing the moment.
I got there as soon as I could and found your
How many injured?
Shayera hesitates.
How many dead?
10 million in damages, 12 injured, 44 dead.
John gulps as hard as he can, redirecting the rising vomit in his throat. Dennis watches from afar, analyzing John and Shayera's every gesture.
You're alive because of a built-in failsafe. It always saves enough to protect it.
Do you care about me?
She nods.
Then why me do this?
Silence.
Did it never occur to you that maybe I was insane? I mean, half my brain is mush, but even I know this whole thing I did wasn't gonna end well.
John, you're the sort of man that makes people feel insane for not taking a stand sooner.
What I did was illegal and wrong.
I understand that.
Then why let me do it?
Because it's right. You made it right somehow.
Silence. John shakes his head.
Just not this time, right? And never again.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital atrium, 50 feet from John and Shayera at the same time. Lawton and Dennis chat from afar, whispering.
I don't trust her.
Shocking.
I've watched you.
Interior, Coast City General Hospital atrium, same time. Shayera slowly places her hands on top of John's.
Find a way to make things right when no one else cared to.
Shayera removes her hands from atop John's hands.
Time. Let's go.
John opens his hands. A battle-weathered silver ring lay in his palm. Bold green stone set with a silver band stares up at him.
When no one else had the will to.
John closes his fist, concealing the ring just as Dennis arrives.
Mount up.
John stands, extending a hand to Shayera.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Shayera and John shake hands.
When no one else had the will, eh?
Shayera nods.
It'd be nice to know that guy.
Suddenly, agents descend upon John, ushering him toward the exit in a hurry, until
Sergeant John Douglas Stewart,
John turns and listens as the agents nudge him toward the door.
you won the Camp Perry Marksmanship Award before you joined the Marine Corps Sniper Training Program.
John drags his weight, buying more time.
You earned the Distinguished Service Cross.
What for?
Heroism.
Their eyes meet one last time.
Now you know.
John gives Shayera the mildest of smiles. It's a bittersweet goodbye as he's ushered out the door, out of sight, leaving Shayera alone. Almost. She opens her clenched fist to find the ring, slipped to her during her and John's handshake. The son of a bitch refused to accept it. And neither was she. Shayera departs with blistering determination. Exterior, open road, late afternoon. Ominous gray clouds recess upon a peaceful horizon, brewing, bubbling with static electricity, until lightning stretches across Coast City. Kaboom! Belching thunder in his wake. Raindrop quenches the scorched asphalt as a caravan of SUVs race by. Interior, SUV, same time. John sits betwixt two agents, cuffed, staring blankly ahead. He's accepted his fate. The young agent sits at John's right, tissue paper stuffed into each nostril, face bruised. He'll never forget Shayera Hall or that marble floor. Unbeknownst to the young agent, Shayera's device remains stuck to his vest, still flashing, still transmitting. Exterior, open road, moments later. Caravan of SUVs race into the distance, disappearing, then vroom! A Lexus speeds by, following the cars ahead. Interior Lexus, moments later. Inside, Shayera grips the wheel. In the passenger seat, beside Shayera, is a tablet device displaying both map and a bright green icon drifting due north. The tracking device she planted on the agent works like a charm. Blam! Shayera mashes the gas pedal to the floor. Exterior, abandoned fairgrounds, entrance, night. Car doors slam shut. No words are exchanged between Dennis and his agents. Yet the agents fan. As John watches the agents, he realizes something. The agents move so precise, so organized, as if they've done this before. John laughs.
I gotta have some serious brain damage to fall for this shit.
Blam! The butt of Lawton's pistol slams into the back of John's head. It's lights out.
This dude is heavy as hell.
Interior, abandoned fairground moments later. A tunnel of darkness widens as John struggles to pry his eyes open. A blurry stream of concrete flows below him, like a treadmill belt made of pavement.
No shit. Look at the size of him.
A duo of agents drag John along the grimy corridor.
Did he just wake up?
Nah, he's out.
The world goes dark, silent. John loses consciousness again. Splash! Interior, pigpen, moments later. Cold water crashes onto John's face, jolting John back to life. John is shirtless, his cuffed hands hoisted and roped overhead, leaving him helpless. His panicked eyes dart across the room uncontrollably, seeing an old car battery, jumper cables, a gun, and 4 silhouettes. Big silhouettes.
I want that ring, John.
Dennis steps into the light, waiting calmly for the answer. John hyperventilates.
What?
Whoosh thud. Dennis' hand snaps forward and claws John's mandible, sending a shockwave of panic along John's spine.
Don't lie to me.
John hiccups for air.
Ah, I remember now. That ring. From this finger.
John looks up at his hand, prompting Dennis to follow suit. And when Dennis does, he finds John flipping him the bird.
Right.
John is bruised, shivering, possibly brain damaged, yet musters a shit-eating grin.
All right.
Agent Brock steps out of the darkness, jumper cables in hands. John's breath quickens as the agent approaches. Prongs contact flesh, stiffening John's entire body so tightly that John's screams can barely escape his clenched jaw. Exterior, abandoned fairgrounds, entrance. Moments later, muffled screams echo through the dark corridor. The chilling sounds reach the ear of Agent Colvin. He can't help but listen to the gut-wrenching sound until, whoosh, a strong gust of wind grabs the agent's attention. He turns and is greeted by a special kind of darkness, the occupied kind. Step by step, Agent Colvin inches closer to the unknown, his gun at the ready. He takes one last step and, whoosh, a massive set of wings stab outward. Agent Colvin pulls the trigger. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Exterior, abandoned fairgrounds, entrance, down the hall, same time. Deafening gunfire rings out. Agent Darwin turns and sees Agent Colvin flung into the air like a discarded toy. Then, thwomp! Agent Colvin slams to the door, lifeless. Darwin looks at the attacker, but it's obscured by a shadow, unidentifiable, except for its outstretched wings.
Jesus Christ.
From 50 feet away, Agent Darwin takes aim with his shotgun and blam! Interior pigpen, same time. Gunfire grabs everyone's attention.
You and you, fix it.
The agents quickly exit. John slumps forward, limp from the torture, desperately trying to catch his breath.
The ring.
John is weak, but shakes his head in defiance.
You'll give me what I want. You know that, right?
John is unresponsive.
Do it again.
The prongs approach skin, closer and closer until blam! Exterior, abandoned fairgrounds. Entrance, opposite side, seconds later. Agent Darwin fires. The winged creature leaps like a gazelle, narrowly dodging buckshot. Blam! Another graceful leap, another miss. Blam! The final leap sends the creature slicing into the sky like a hawk, disappearing amongst the dark clouds. Agent Darwin strides forward, racking his weapon confidently when, whoosh, thwop, the creature blurs by and violently rips the agent from his feet.
Enough!
Interior pigpen, same time. The torture stops. John slumps. Each breath he takes is more shallow than the last. Thump, thump, the thump, thump, thump. John's arrhythmic heart beats like a war drum in his ears, but the fight fades from his eyes. Blam, blam! Distant gunfire snaps John out of his haze. He lifts his eyes and finds Dennis blurring in focus.
You gonna do something about that?
Lawton leans into the light.
Nothing's free.
You know who is paying you. Put it on this tab.
John watches Lawton pick up a rifle when, zoosh, John's pupils dilate. His vision becomes semi-telescopic. The M24 on Lawton's rifle. The handcuff keys on Agent Brock's hip. The puddle next to Agent Brock's feet. They all jump out at John like 3D images. His military instincts return like a shot of adrenaline to the heart. Zoosh. John's senses return to normal as Lawton exits the room.
That's a powerful gun.
Dennis turns. In one breath, John rattles off incredibly specific information, like a computer would.
Remington M24, 7.6 pounds, 47 inches long with an effective firing range 1,600 yards, capable of disabling anti-tank artillery or, with proper bullet placement, something more powerful.
Dennis smiles. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway B, same time. An agent flies into the air, then slams onto a concrete pillar. 10 feet away, the winged creature tangles with a duo of agents. The creature flaps its huge wings, creating a pulse of wind so strong it throws each agent several feet away, incapacitating them.
The madman with the bomb? He didn't shoot me.
Interior, pigpen, same time. Water drips from John's hair. He looks up directly into Dennis's eyes.
You did. You had your sniper friend drop me with that 50 cal.
Clap, click, bang. Interior, flashback, Coast City College Administration Building, 36 hours earlier. Gunshot echoes. Green light splatters across the walls as John drops to the floor. Again, the ring on John's right hand spits sparks of exhausted green energy. Exterior, Coast City College, Science Building rooftop, 36 hours earlier. Floyd Lawton ejects a 50 caliber shell from his rifle, then whispers into his earpiece.
He's down.
Interior, flashback, Coast City College Administration Building, 36 hours earlier. John's glowing green eyes snap open. The bomber stands above him triumphantly, with a vest of C4 explosives strapped on tight, 44 Magnum in one hand, a detonator in the other hand, then, click, everything fades to white.
You killed all those kids.
Interior, pigpen, same time. John shakes his head.
For the ring.
For the power, John. I already told you, I'm a lawman.
Dennis raises an eyebrow and walks towards John.
When a criminal in my town gets a semi-automatic weapon, I get an automatic weapon.
Dennis stops within inches of John's face.
We're going to use that little ring of yours to put the fear of God into anyone like you. And when we do, it won't be pretty.
Neither person breaks eye contact. Suddenly, gunshots pop somewhere in the building. Dennis smiles.
Perfect timing.
Dennis leaves.
Keep him busy till I get back.
Agent Brock approaches John with prongs in hand. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Interior. Abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Agent Taylor runs for his life, firing his weapon wildly into the air. Click. His clip is empty. Agent Taylor tosses the weapon aside, still sprinting. Suddenly a shadow cast from above streaks overhead, like a falcon stalking its prey. Interior, pigpen, same time. Agent Brock and the electrified prongs inch closer and closer to John. John scans the room, seeing the prongs, the puddle, the battery. Then blam! A swift kick sweeps Agent Brock's feet out from under him. Splash! Agent Brock lands in the puddle. Clunk! The agent's feet slam into the battery, tipping it and the prongs into the puddle. Zzz! The agent tases himself, unconscious. John reaches for the agent's keys with his rubber-soled boots. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Agent Taylor's boots skid to a halt. He looks around. It's clear, quiet. Whoosh! Thud! Dust billows up as the winged creature slams to the ground in front of Agent Taylor. The creature stands, extends its wings, the sight of which sends the agent backtracking, terrified, until thump! The agent's foot bumps something, a sledgehammer, left behind by an old construction crew, no doubt. In a blink, the agent lifts the hammer from the ground.
Stay back!
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway E, same time. Agent Johnson carefully patrols the hallway when,
Hey!
Agent Johnson turns and blam! John punches the agent to the throat, grabs the agent's vest, and da-boom! A wooden door explodes in splinters as John throws Agent Johnson through. The agent slams into the concrete floor, unresponsive. John steps forward cautiously and checks the agent's pulse.
You'll be alright in a few days.
John takes the agent's gun. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Agent Taylor holds the hammer like a baseball bat, terrified but prepared to fight. Then it happens. The creature passes through a shaft of light, revealing its identity. It's Shayera, but with wings somehow. Agent Taylor's eyes widen. You!
Where is he?
Whoosh! Agent Taylor swings and misses. Blam! Blam! Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway D, same time. John evades incoming gunfire long enough to reply with a shot of his own. Blam! Hiss! John's bullet connects with a fire extinguisher, rips the extinguisher open, which sprays Agent Chapman in the eyes.
Ah!
Agent Chapman wipes his eyes frantically, clearing his vision in time to see John's snarling face, then a massive incoming fist. Boom! Agent Chapman drops. John grabs the agent's gun and tosses it into the trash. Ah! Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Whoosh! The sledgehammer slices through the air. Thwop! The hammer stops abruptly in Shayera's hand. In a blink, she takes the hammer and pow! Smacks Agent Taylor, flipping him heels over head and onto the concrete. Ta-tink, ta-tink, gunshots. Just miss Shayera. She turns and finds another agent carefully aiming his pistol at her. Blam! Shayera ducks, grabs a rock, stands and throws. The rock flies 100 feet through the air and crack, drops the agent like a sack of potatoes.
Shiera?
She turns, seeing John lifts her heart.
John.
Silence.
You come for me?
Shayera nods. The two stand at opposite ends of the hall, unsure of how to proceed.
Shiera, from where I'm standing, it looks like you have wings.
The mixture of humor and relief is too much for Shayera. She laughs while tears wet her cheeks.
They're not attacked.
Boom! Shayera is hit. The force from the bullet knocks her onto her stomach. Blam, blam, click. John empties his gun whilst diving for cover.
You alright?
She's fine. I only winged her.
Lawton's laugh echoes through the hall. John urgently scans the second floor, desperately trying to find the shooter. Shayera recovers and notices sparks flying from her right wing. Its mechanical parts are mangled by the shot.
I'm fine.
Shayera attempts to stand. The voice echoes through the hall again.
Stay down, or the next one's in your chest.
John gestures for Shayera to stay down. She does.
I don't have the goddamn ring.
We've already played this game, John.
Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor, hallway C, same time. Lawton and Dennis look down on Shayera from the floor above. Lawton's face is pressed against the scope of his rifle.
And I'm bored of it.
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. John pokes his head out quickly and spots Lawton's second floor nest.
You have 5 seconds to produce that ring, or your girlfriend becomes a Jackson Pollock.
Shayera and John look at one another tenderly.
5,
Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor hallway, C, same time.
He's gonna make a move.
And when he does, put him down. 4!
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Shayera is in the open, completely unprotected.
You're gonna be all right.
3!
Shayera smiles at John.
I know.
Shayera opens her hand. It's the ring.
2!
Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor hallway C, same time. Lawton's finger slides over the trigger. Dennis leans in.
Wait for it.
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time.
Now!
Shayera slides the ring across the floor and John explodes into a sprint.
1!
Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor hallway C, same time. Lawton shifts his crosshairs, attempting to get a lock on John.
Take the shot!
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. John slides across the concrete and snatches the ring from the floor. Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor, hallway C, same time. Lawton almost has John between the crosshairs.
Shoot him!
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. John slides to a halt, clutching the ring. Instantaneously, green light surges from the ring through John's body and solidifies in the form of a sniper rifle in John's hand. Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor, hallway C, same time. Lawton's scope drifts to a stop. He finds himself staring directly down the barrel of John's rifle. It's man against man, sniper versus sniper.
Don't try to run.
Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time.
You'll just die tired.
The creed of all elite snipers. Bang! One sound, 2 shots. Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor, hallway C, same time. Crash! Lawton's scope explodes into a million pieces. Blood paints the walls. Thwump! Lawton hits the floor. His shooting eye and face are ripped to shreds. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Shayera sprawls against the floor with her eyes squeezed shut. Clink, clink. Shayera opens her eyes and finds John's ring in front of her. Her eyes drift upward to find John standing in the middle of the hall, his dull, vacant eyes still fixed on his target.
John.
Blam! John slams into the concrete, face first with full force. Interior, abandoned fairground, second floor, hallway C, same time. Dennis checks Lawton's pulse and drags Lawton's limp body out of the room. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Shayera discards her mechanical wings and runs to John's side. She immediately cradles John's head and puts pressure on his wounds.
Look at me.
John's blood-soaked hand weakly caresses Shayera's arm, and for a moment the two find a peace in one another's gaze. Peace being wrapped up in one another's arms, until their firm hold on one another softens. John's arms slowly uncoil themselves from Shayera's body.
Babe.
No response. Tears rolling downward, Shayera slumps forward. She's exhausted and, despite all of her efforts, alone. Exterior, abandoned fairgrounds, entrance moments later. Dennis has Lawton's arms slung over his shoulder as the two make their way forward towards one of the SUVs. Suddenly, Lawton snaps to life and musters his remaining energy to ask.
Is he dead? Is he hit?
Of all the things a man in Lawton's position would ask.
Yeah. You got him. You got him.
Lawton slumps forward, exasperated, like a runner that's just won a marathon. Dennis carefully loads Lawton into the truck. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, same time. Shayera's bloodshot eyes stare blankly ahead as tears wet her cheeks, until something catches her eye, something shimmering from within a puddle of John's blood. The ring. Shayera grabs for the ring in an act of desperation. She slides the ring onto John's finger and nothing. It's only then that she realizes he's gone. Shayera's bruised fingers slide along John's wrist as she reaches for his hand. She feels the cold metal of John's ring against her skin as her fingers wrap around John's for the last time. Then, whoosh! Shayera screams as a beam of green light rockets upward from within their interlaced hands. Interior, SUV, same time. Dennis drives along a dark road and he notices something in the rearview mirror. Blam! Screech! Dennis slams on the brakes. Exterior, open road moments later. Dennis steps out of his vehicle. He finds the fairgrounds completely illuminated in the distance. Every window, every door, every skylight emitting a pulsing green light, until moments later the light fades, leaving Dennis in darkness, fear-stricken. Interior, abandoned fairground, hallway C, moments later. Dust, debris, and smoke settle. Shayera's clenched eyelids relax and open. She watches as John slowly rises to his feet.
John?
John turns to Shayera. His eyelids snap open, revealing a blistering inferno of greed. Power.